Ladies and gentlemen, I want you guys to take a look at that picture right there. And if you guys have had children before and seen them when they were born, I know I was absolutely blessed to be able to do that. Shout out to my daughter and my daughter's mother. But I was there when my daughter was born. Just an unforgettable experience. It's probably the greatest achievement in my life, if I can say that. Easily one of the greatest things I did was chose to be a father and bring her into this world. And I'm thankful that me and my daughter's mother were able to work together collaboratively, even though we didn't really have our child in the same household. But we were fortunate enough that we had a lot of help. And it is so difficult to raise children, which is why I believe that we need to take a lot more pride and a lot more care how we bring children into this world. This is another example, in my humble opinion, where I just think that if we made some different choices, these outcomes might potentially turn out a little bit different. I'm going to say some things that are not going to sit well with your sensibilities, and this story is going to have some details that are going to jar you to the core, because that is such a beautiful baby. The mother was a young, beautiful mother. This baby, even more so. You know, I mean, shout out to the mom and all. But it's like when I see this baby, let me see if I can get this baby's picture back up here. And I see that and I'm just like, this baby is just ready to absorb whatever the world is going to give it. Give it sweet words, give it food and sustenance, change it, you know, be there when it cries and change its diapers and all of that good stuff. And what we believe that this woman's boyfriend did to this kid is just, you can't even fathom why you would want to hurt that beautiful princess. Okay? Memphis, Tennessee. The man accused of murdering 27-year-old Danielle Hoyle and her two-day-old daughter, Kennedy Hoyle, goes before a judge in Memphis on Monday morning. And this article comes up as of February the 6th of 2022. And thank you to actionnews5.com. That's where the article is coming from. So if you guys want to look that up. The family of Hoyle says that so many of them will be present for that. And I definitely encourage them to be there. Obviously, you want to show some restraint, but I applaud them for showing up to support that. Brandon Isabel, this idiot, 25 years old that you see on my screen, is currently behind bars at 201 Poplar, awaiting his first court appearance. For April Campbell, the grandmother of Danielle and Kennedy, it's been a hard few days since she learned of her daughter and granddaughter's deaths, but she's surrounded by family and an outpouring of support that's giving her strength to face Isabel tomorrow morning in court. Right now, an active base of operations still sits on North Mud Island days after Isabel confessed, the words out of his own mouth, he confessed to throwing Kennedy, baby Kennedy, into the Mississippi River. And I don't know what they were going through. I don't know what angered him to that extent, whether it be arguing, whether it be jealousy, whether it be questions about paternity. This can't happen. There is no excuse for this. There is no excuse for whatever he feels like that this woman wronged him or pissed him off or whatever the case is. A two-day-old baby. From his words, based on what they're reporting, like I say, I don't know this to be a fact, but from what they're reporting, they're saying that he confessed to taking that beautiful princess that you see on the right-hand side of my screen and threw this baby into the Mississippi River, 2 days old. God, that is heartbreaking. He also confessed to fatally shooting his girlfriend, Danielle Hoyle, Kennedy's mother, late Tuesday night. As of last check, Kennedy's body has not been found. This is part of why people are saying There's a possibility that this baby might be alive. Maybe he didn't actually do it. Maybe he was lying. Here's another part about it. From what I understand, he has some type of legal representation, and he's trying to say that this confession was coerced and he didn't actually do this, and he didn't give his confession on his own consent. So this story is going to get really crazy. But the family said, I'm thankful for all your prayers, your support, and well wishes, and I wish I could just hold my grandbaby. Campbell says she is still processing her loss. Her granddaughter Kennedy had just been born and was about to be a time of celebration, but now this is a time of mourning. Why would you hurt a baby? All you had to do was go about your business. I had my grandbaby. I take care of all my grandbabies, and I make sure that they have what they need. If their parents can't get it, I've got it for them. He had no reason. Campbell has found some comfort during this time from family and community support. Now, there was a GoFundMe. Y'all know how I feel about these GoFundMes. But let me see if I took a screenshot. I think I did. And yes, I did. Because I always do. Here is the GoFundMe. They were asking, as you guys can see from the top right-hand corner, for $15,000 on behalf of both of those girls' deaths, the mother and the daughter, for $15,000. Well, clearly people heard about this story. They felt bad about it and donated more than double that. $31,727 and counting. Do you guys want to know what I believe the motive is? Because they don't have a motive yet. And I think maybe some of that might come out in court. Maybe we will never get an answer. But I think I have a motive. A couple of them. So I hope the family won't get mad about what I'm going to suggest as the reason. Because unless the mom can't tell us anything, she's not going to be able to come back and tell us the reason for this. I don't even know if she communicated any of her issues with this man, with her family. But I believe I have some reasons why, and I'm not so sure that this young fool is going to be forthcoming about why he did this. I just can't imagine how you can look at that princess's face, yes, and tell me you would ever want to do something bad to her. All I want to do is hold her and burp her and watch her sleep. She's a beautiful little baby. Lord knows I don't think I'm ready to start over again because, you know, we've been through a journey. Me and my daughter have. But my goodness, I mean, that's just such a precious baby. I mean, like, if it meant saving her life, I would absolutely take her on as a father. But it's just really sad. Let me talk more about this. Campbell mentioned that she, along with family members, are planning a vigil of sorts for Danielle and Kennedy in the near future to keep their memory alive. And, of course, they left some GoFundMe information. But let me get to my second article because I think it gives a little more detail. So Brandon Isabel, the man who was accused of killing Danielle Hoyle and her 2-day-old daughter, Kennedy Hoyle, he pled not guilty during his arraignment Monday morning in Shelby County Criminal Courtroom. Now, according to police, Hoyle, who is age 27 years old, died after being shot in the head in a Whitehaven neighborhood on February 1st. A patrol officer found Hoyle's body near her tan-colored Chevy Cruze after he noticed a shattered window on the driver's side of the car. When police detained Isabel, who's 25 years old, so he's 2 years younger, he just looked like a fool in the face, like he just looked like a vicious human being. I'm sorry for judging a book by its cover, but that's just what he looked like to me. He looks like a little mini Predator. And I don't mean like the Hillary Clinton version of Predator. I'm talking about like Predator off the movie Predator with Arnold Schwarzenegger. Y'all remember that movie when Predator takes off his mask and he got those teeth that do like this? He reminds me like if you took Predator's mask off, that's just what he reminds me of. "25 years old. When police detained him for questioning, he admitted that he lured Hoyle to the Whitehaven neighborhood and shot her. According to court documents, hashtag not my words. Don't get mad at me. He also allegedly admitted to then taking Kennedy to the northern point of Mud Island and throwing the newborn 2-day-old baby into the cold waters of the Mississippi River. Lauren, who is Isabel's defense attorney, said her office will review the admission as part of their investigation into this case. Police are trained to elicit confessions. Her office will review the circumstances around Isabel's confession. So that's part of what them trying to defend him. But, you know, that's his legal right. Isabel's family, according to that attorney, has been active and involved with her law office's review of the case. Hoyle's mother and Kennedy's grandmother, April Campbell, locked eyes with Isabel as he sat in court during his arraignment. "I just had to see this monster who did this to them. He didn't have to hurt them." Campbell said Isabel was present in the hospital for Kennedy's birth. Let me say that again. He was at the hospital when the mom gave birth. He reportedly held his newborn daughter before her presumed death. Campbell could not fathom how Isabel could have hurt his own daughter after holding her. I have no words for him. No words. Monday's court appearance, Campbell said, was the first time she had seen Isabel in person. Let's take a freaking pause for the cause. If you guys are listening to the stream, please do me a favor and click that thumbs up. I want you guys to share this story as well as our other stories to make sure that we get more attention on this. Let me say that again. So this 26-year-old woman at the time, I'm assuming was dating this man, gave birth at age 27 years old. I don't know how long they were dating, and yes, I believe it's relevant. And the family didn't even know what he looked like. Not much to look at, by the way. But that's how we're bringing children into this world. Just, you don't know who the dad is until he just pops up out of nowhere. And it's just like, damn, like, how are we bringing kids into this world? How are we supposed to have stability? How are we supposed to be able to support each other if we won't even share information, something as simple as who is the baby dad? Maybe was he not the baby dad? How do we even know he was the baby dad? Did they get a DNA test? Was there some question? Did they have a breakup period where he wasn't seeing her or her wasn't seeing him and her felt like she can go out and go do whatever, blah, blah, blah? Something caused this fool to snap. I don't think he just out of nowhere, you know what, screw this, throw the baby in the river and I'm killing her. Something prompted that. Potentially some infidelity? Yes, it happens. And I'm not trying to paint this young woman out to have done something wrong because she didn't. Even if there was some infidelity, that don't mean you get to kill her. That don't mean you get to attack her. That don't mean you get to cuss her out, act a damn fool, and you damn sure don't get to do what you did to this baby either. X all of that out of the equation. Never makes that right. But here's what I'm saying when you go to the Thug Zoo and you go play with the Thug Lions. What I am saying is that if you go to the Thug Zoo, then you know that the Thug Lions have something in their nature. It is innate. It is in their nature to be demonstrative, to attack. You don't know what's going to set them off. I've watched plenty of videos on YouTube because I like animal videos. And the big ass tiger just sitting right there. He just sitting there just chilling. The next thing you know, rah, rah, rah. He goes attacks the trainer out of nowhere because he felt threatened. Have you guys ever seen videos like that? I have. You don't know what's going to set them off. And I always refer this as these thug zoos and these thug lions because it seems like we like these dangerous, unstable situations, us as a community. I'm not excluding myself. I'm saying us. Us as a whole, as a community, as a United States. Not even a black and white thing. How about that? How about that? This is not a black and white thing. This is a death thing. And this is about our children. And this shit has got to stop. Whether there were infidelity or whatever the case is, whether he was just unstable, going through something, afraid of child support, didn't want to be a dad, changed his mind, got pissed off, got a girlfriend, this is his side girl. How do you know? The family didn't even know what he looked like. Were you ashamed of him? Were you not supposed to be seeing him? Was he married? He is 25 years old. Old enough to be married. It's not impossible. There are a lot of different things that we could speculate on. The only way we're going to know, because he took out the other party that would be able to answer that question, is if he comes out and confesses it. But we're pretty sure that his damn attorney is probably gonna defend that too, right? Probably going to say, oh yeah, well, he was just saying that he didn't really mean it. The police coerced him into saying this. But that's what attorneys do. Let's keep going. Campbell was present during the search for Kennedy's remains Wednesday. Multiple law enforcement agencies participated in the search near a public boat ramp on the northern point of Mud Island. The search continued into Wednesday night, but divers combing the Mississippi River were unable to locate any signs of Kennedy. The infant's body has still not been located. So let me give you guys the fair usage, but I do have a little bit more to say, but let me let these videos ride out. Let's get it. Federal law allows citizens to reproduce, distribute, or exhibit portions of copyrighted motion pictures, videotapes, or video discs under certain circumstances without the authorization of the copyright holder. This is called fair use. It is allowed for purposes of criticism, news reporting, teaching, and parody, which doesn't infringe of copyright under 17 U.S.C. 107. And again, just as a quick reminder, if you guys would do us a favor and click that thumbs up, all it does is help shares these stories, brings more people in, brings more attention to let people know that we're talking about this story. If you will hit that thumbs up, it'll help us out tremendously. Here we go. Let's get it.
6 o'clock on your Wednesday morning, and we continue to follow breaking news. Memphis police are on the hunt for a 2-day-old baby who disappeared from a Whitehaven neighborhood. Thank you for joining us. I'm Zanetta Lowe.
And I'm Todd Demers. And what we want to do is go right out to Quamitra Wilburn. Quamitra, I understand you talked with the grandmother of the baby. What did she have to say?
Yeah, well, according to the grandmother, that infant is not the only person missing. According to that grandmother, the infant's mother is missing as well. Now, right now, we're standing on Windcrest Road.
Oh my goodness. So they don't have the mother's body either? They don't have the mom's body either. Now that I did not know. Wow.
Which is just a few feet away from the family home. You can see officers are out here. They are speaking with family, and we have been speaking with family all morning long. And let me tell you something, the grandmother is just devastated. We're in the area, well, according to family members, I want you to take a good look at your screen. This is who the police are looking for. This is 2-day-old Kennedy Hoyle. Police say she was last seen around 11:30 last night with her mother in the area of Sedgwick and Levi Road. But according to family members, her mother, 27-year-old Danielle Hoyle, was taking her newborn to the hospital to receive her shots. That was the last time, according to Danielle's mother, that she last spoke to her daughter, and also around the last time she also saw her grandbaby. But just a few hours later, according to Danielle's mother, detectives came to her door asking her mother what car Danielle drives. That car was found over in the area of Neely and Levi Road, where police have it blocked off. They were called to that area because they received a call about an abandoned vehicle that's believed to belong to Danielle. Now, and
I want to say I thought they found her in the car, like they found her shot. But like I said, I don't know that to be a definitive fact from a bunch of different articles I looked at. Maybe I got confused, but I was doing quite a bit of research, so maybe I got that wrong.
that's also about a half a mile from where she and the baby was last seen. As you can imagine, there's a lot of pressure in the department to find both mother and child. Now, we're still trying to gather all the facts, but according to family members, they tell us that police also found a body in that area. It is not clear who that person is. We have not confirmed that with police, but that is according to family members. I can tell you that the forensic medical examiner was on the scene and homicide detectives were on scene as well, but again, they have not identified who that person is. This is all according to the mother of Danielle, who's also the grandmother of that 2-day-old baby, Kennedy Hoyle. Again, that mother says she is just desperate for answers. Here's what she had to say.
They say it was an active crime scene. I don't even know where it is. They said they were going to do fingerprints and DNA to try to figure out if it's her. If not, I have to come and identify her. But she had my grandbaby, and she's just 2 days old. I just want her to come home. They can't find her. They're looking for her.
As of right now, from what we know, according to family members and according to what police have told us, we know 2-day-old Kennedy Hoyle is missing, and according to family members, 27-year-old Danielle Hoyle is still missing.
A breaking news update now on a missing 2-day-old girl. She was reported missing shortly after police say her mother was found shot to death in Whitehaven.
Tonight, there's a new clue in Kennedy Dole's disappearance. WREG's Bria Jones has been following the search all day long, and she joins us live now from Mud Island with the latest. Bria?
Well, Stephanie and Greg, this has been both an exhausting and emotional day for the family as they search from Whitehaven to Cordova and back out here to Mud Island, where you can see the MPD command post. Tonight, they tell me they're not losing hope.
That's my baby. That's my grandbaby. I only had my baby 10 minutes, and I haven't seen her since.
April Campbell is experiencing the unimaginable.
Now, I know people are saying in the chat that he admitted it and pled not guilty. Like I say, he's trying to backtrack on that. He's trying to say that the police coerced him into giving that statement and those details. But like I said, I think that could just be a formality at this point, because that's just what lawyers do. They try to defend you and save you from, I guess, yourself, so to say. So we'll just have to see how that plays out.
She says her 27-year-old daughter, Danielle Hoyle, was shot and killed last night in Whitehaven. Now her daughter's 2-day-old baby girl, Kennedy Hoyle, is at the center of an Amber Alert investigation.
They got the divers looking, helicopters looking, red tape around certain areas. They won't tell us nothing until they know something.
Wednesday, Memphis police said they were searching Mud Island with local and state partners looking for baby Kennedy.
I just want my grandbaby. That's all I want. Her sister wanted her to come home. She keeps calling, asking where she is. I can't tell her.
Family confirms to WREG photos of a car seat seen next to a dumpster behind a Whitehaven Walmart belongs to the baby.
So instead of them checking the river, maybe they should have been checking dumpsters then. That is a possibility. Maybe not the river. Maybe that was just to throw them off the trail. But if it was found by a dumpster, maybe they should have checked the dumpsters in the trash, which is a pretty routine thing that they do if that's where they suspect that a child might be missing from. So maybe they might need to check that too, rather than just the rivers. But I definitely, this is heartbreaking. Yeah, I agree. But I definitely hope they get some closure to this.
The location is less than 5 miles from the area of Sedgwick and Levi, where police say the child's mother was found.
Why would somebody want to hurt a baby? She She didn't do anything to you. Y'all could have took her to a fire department, police station, dropped off somebody's porch.
With one man detained who police say is known to the victims, family says they want justice.
You finna rot in hell or something. You deserve to die.
Police are not releasing the name of the person they have detained.
Oh, we've already released that, so let's keep going.
We do have some breaking news to get to here this morning. We know a father is in custody due to that Amber Alert that is out of Memphis.
And right now, News Channel 5's Amelia Young has the latest from TBI headquarters. Amelia, can you tell us what the latest is? We understand the child may be dead.
Yeah, Ben and Amy, it's something we've been following all night. Memphis police released more information just hours after that Amber Alert was sent out. They say evidence does suggest that that little baby girl is dead. Now, officers say the baby's father, Brandon Isabel, killed the mother, Danielle Hoyle, then left her body in a car. He's been charged with 2 counts of first-degree murder and numerous other charges, along with tampering with evidence in connection with the deaths of the baby and Danielle. Now, Kennedy Hoyle is the 2-day-old baby. Again, she has not been found, but Memphis police say, sadly, evidence does suggest she is likely dead. Yesterday, police were searching for Kennedy by the Mississippi River. Officers say the search will continue until they recover her remains. She was last seen with her mother, who was shot and killed in the Whitehaven area. Again, we'll continue to follow updates to this case. Make sure you're following along.
Okay, I know we're live right now, but you kind of touched on something and I was kind of curious as to what you meant by that. So I'm going to take a pause real quick in the middle of the live stream. So if you're watching this live, you'll be able to see this again. But I'm curious. I think, Dee Dee, this might be your first time in my chat, or at least the first time I've seen you. But you said that black women are being killed every 5.5 hours. Like, was there like a reason that you said that in particular? I'm just kind of curious about, like, because I know you typed that and I didn't really understand the context behind it. But, like, I guess maybe you could explain that. If you can type in the chat, let me know, Dee Dee. You said that black women are being killed every 5.5 hours. I'm just curious. Like I said, I'm not here to try to, you know, call you out or anything. I was just trying to kind of understand maybe your perspective or how that even has any relevancy. Because I'm definitely not an advocate for adults. I am an advocate for children. Children should come in all shapes, forms, sizes, and races. And when I talk about children on my channel, I mean we care about all races of children. I'm not here to say, well, this happens more to black kids or anything like that. That's not my point. My point is to put the children first. The children should matter more than anything. And in my opinion, with this story, I'm not saying because one of your chatters rationalized the reason for the murder. My point is that it's a trend. I don't even see how that's a trend. That's not a trend. I get it. That's not a trend, though. The trend in child murders and mothers being murdered has nothing to do with triggers. But that's not a... Look, for me, and maybe, like I said, maybe I'll just let that ride, because like I said, I definitely don't want to take too much focus off the story. But in my opinion, I believe there's a cause and effect to everything. And one of the things that even like my father, and shout out to my father, taught me is that I'm not a victim. We make choices every single day to end up where we end up. And yes, there are victims in a lot of these situations, but what we can't do is we can't act like something didn't cause and effect, didn't lead up to this. You understand? There is a root cause to everything. Even if you're a biblical person, we could look at it and say, maybe you shouldn't be having sex outside of wedlock before you get married. Is that not a sin against God? Is it not? So we're already sitting and knowing there's going to be a consequence to pay thereafter. So that in itself can lead to very, very bad things. Number one. Number two, look at how many of these thugs, because this is actually a trend that you can look up. It's actually trendy to date thugs, to date criminals, for dudes in jail to have girlfriends and have females waiting on them the moment that they step their toe across those sacred gate lines, right? So you have to ask yourself, some of the most dangerous, murderous, criminalist, non-following the lawless ass people always got women. Huh? You get it? So if we know that there presents a danger, and if we know we're not doing background checks, if we know that all we are concerned about is our own personal pleasures, ladies, not all, but too many of us, especially our young black sisters, That's why I work so hard with my daughter and so many of these other young sisters, to show them examples like these of why you should be careful about how you move, how you step, and who you choose to lay down with. If we're going to talk about mental illness being a real thing, then one thing we would have to look at is say that maybe a lot of these young men who didn't have fathers in their life are probably going to be a little bit mentally unstable. Do we even take time to find out if the men that these ladies are having sex with have fathers? Especially if the parents of this woman didn't even know who the dad was. Get what I'm saying? The family didn't even know who the dad was. So how much time did we really take to get to know this man? This is not a tale or a speech for me to fix her life, because her life is ruined, because her life was taken by this criminal. What I'm saying is that to those who are listening, and maybe to those other young women who might potentially get in these situations, that's what we're trying to fix. We're trying to fix those so that we don't get to a point like this. That's the only point that I'm trying to make. So hopefully you understand where I'm coming from. But anyway, you just made me kind of think about that, but I thought I'd share my thoughts with you on that. But anyway, let's keep going.
On our website or.
All right, a heartbreaking update tonight. A Memphis man is charged this evening with the murder of his 2-day-old daughter and the mother of the child.
Yes, truly a heartbreaker. And a heartbreaking ending also to a search that began early this morning for the missing newborn. WRG's Melissa Moon, she joins us now live with more on why this is now, Melissa, a recovery effort.
Well, the father, Brandon Isabel, is...
All right, let's take a pause right there. And this is part of where I feel like maybe at the end of the show, we can start answering some of these questions, because clearly I think that we have a very, very different way of thinking. So somebody in the chat said, not everyone wants marriage, though. So I want you to think about this. You said not everybody wants marriage, and I get that. So then you'd have to ask yourself the next reasonable question. So if you don't want marriage, then why would you want kids? I would love to see your response to that. You said not everybody wants marriage, but everybody want kids, though? Why would you want kids and no marriage? Why would you want kids and no commitment? Why would you want kids with no stability? Why would you want kids in multiple different households outside of one roof? Why would you want kids to be raised around a bunch of different fathers, or a bunch of different mothers, or a bunch of different people who don't share any DNA tie with them? I think what I'm presenting is very, very clear and very simple. It's a simple thing. If you want to have sex and do all of this reckless sex, then just don't bring babies into the world. Is that too much to ask? But maybe I'm the one who's got it wrong. If you like having sex, have sex. Stop bringing kids in. You don't want to have marriages? Cool. Stop bringing kids in. Marriage is not an end-all, fix-all, but it is a damn good social construct to at least show that you're going to be committed to unity. Right? You are showing the world and your state government that you're going to be in unison. I think that is very, very important. People can be together and not be married. You know what, Chris? It's just a piece of paper. You know what? Screw everything I just said. I'm just going to do the damn story because they're just, clearly people like you are going to be dense. So I'm going to just keep doing the story. So never mind what I just said. Screw it.
Locked up tonight, he is charged with 2 counts of first-degree murder, especially aggravated kidnapping and tampering with evidence. Police say evidence suggests the baby is dead. Relatives of little Kennedy Hoyle were holding out hope the newborn would be found alive.
I'm just praying she ain't hurt. I just want her to come home. That's all I want. I just want my baby to come home.
A statewide Amber Alert was issued for the 2-day-old baby after her mother, 27-year-old Danielle Hoyle, was found shot to death beside her car at Sedgwick Street and Levi Road in Whitehaven. This morning, police began searching along the Mississippi River on Mud Island, but haven't said what led them there. Then late this afternoon, they discovered a pink and gray car seat near a dumpster at the Walmart in Whitehaven. Family members confirming it belonged to Kennedy. Police say they have evidence suggesting Kennedy is dead, but have not found her body.
You deserve to die. You didn't have to hurt her.
Early on, Danielle's loved ones, including her mother, believed the baby's father, Brandon Isabel, was responsible for Danielle's death and the infant's disappearance.
You didn't want to take care of your child. You didn't want to be in her life. You should have left her alone.
Now, police just released new information. They say that Brandon Isabel confessed to shooting and killing Danielle Hoyle. He told investigators he threw the baby in the water off the Mud Island boat ramp and threw the weapon used to shoot Hoyle into the Mississippi River. Police are still investigating a motive.
The man accused of killing his newborn baby and her mother enters a not guilty plea. WREG's Bria Jones was inside the courtroom today, and she joins us live with the emotional reaction from the victim's family. Bria?
Stephanie, Brandon Isabel was only in court briefly, but
I know somebody in the chat is saying, is it possible that he sold the baby? Let me be a little disrespectful to this young 25-year-old fool. I don't think he's smart enough to sell a baby. I don't think he would know the correct black market people to be able to sell a baby. He just don't seem that intelligent. Or even be able to get away with it, to even orchestrate something like that. Like I doubt if he's that bright. So no, I really honestly don't think that that's even a thing. Not in this story.
And for the victim's family, every second was packed with pain.
I just had to see the monster who did this to them.
April Campbell says time stood still when she locked eyes with the man accused of killing her daughter and granddaughter.
No.
Y'all see that look in his eyes? Let me look at this.
And granddaughter.
Look him in the eyes and tell me that man, just based on looks like he's intelligent enough to sell a child for profit. Nah. Nah.
I'll never forget his face.
25-year-old Brandon Isabel appeared in court Monday, charged with killing his 2-day-old daughter, Kennedy Hoyle, and her mother, 27-year-old Danielle Hoyle. Campbell says this was her first time seeing Isabel in person.
It's just like it just called a blank stare. Why are you staring at me? Why are you not telling me what my babies are? Why are you not telling me I'm sorry? I mean, something, something. You can't be that cold-blooded.
According to the police affidavit, Isabel admits he shot Danielle in the head and tossed his baby girl in the Mississippi River. Campbell says Danielle and Brandon worked together and weren't involved long.
On all her pictures, y'all see her smiling. And it's like it's tough Because all she had to do was like, Mama, this going on. All she had to do was talk.
She says Isabel even came to visit the baby.
He got to hold her and everything.
Got to call this out. Shout out to Tommy. Because Tommy makes me look at things a little bit different. Always has. And I look at this and I want y'all to notice. She could be married. I could be very wrong. But I see a lot of stories just like this where you'll have a mother who's going through this, who's lost a daughter, but you don't see a husband. Does that mean that she didn't have a husband or a dad in this young woman's life so that she could have an example as to what type of man she should be dating? Because I know that's a prevalent thing in the black community for sure. Knowing that we have a bunch of our children outside of wedlock, just like the conversation we just had in the chat. A lot of our children are born outside of wedlock because we don't believe in a commitment. Therefore, these young men will grow up without an example as to what they should grow up and become. So they don't have as much self-value in themselves. And if they don't value themselves, they're going to go out into the world and project that on everybody else. The same thing with the women. How are the women going to know what to choose, what type of man to choose, what's masculine, what's proper, what's good masculine behavior if you didn't have a father figure to show you that as a young girl growing up? Is it possible that maybe she made a bad choice because of that? Maybe because she didn't have a father in that girl's life. I don't know. I'm just saying that I see a lot of interviews and I only see women. No ring, no husband. Could I be wrong about that? 100%. Yes. But remember, we don't have answers to what's going on in this story. All I'm saying is I'm just painting a picture as to potentially what might have led up to this. Choices. That's all I'm saying.
How could you kill something that's part of you? I mean, seriously. If you didn't want it, you should have just stayed gone.
Thankful for the outpour of community support, Campbell says she's worried about Danielle's 9-year-old daughter as she copes with the tragedy that stunned the nation.
Danielle was a great mom. Is a great mom. I just ask for all the prayers for Jariah right now. Because she keep telling me now I'm good. But if anybody say her mom's nice, she just breaks down.
You said her husband could have passed. You know how many times I see that in my comment section? The husband could have passed. When statistics show that a lot of our women aren't getting married. But maybe numbers don't matter that much, I guess. Maybe our feelings matter more. Maybe what we want to happen matters more than what actually is statistically happening. Statistics show us that we're not getting married. Statistics show us that we're having children outside of wedlock with no fathers around. But what do I know?
A breaking news update. While the search continues for a missing newborn baby in Memphis, a man has been detained. 2-day-old Kennedy Hoyle was last seen with her mother, who was killed overnight. Police say the man being held is known to the victims.
Very sad story. WRAG's Kwamitra Wilburn spoke to family members who say they are desperate for answers.
I'm just on one right now, guys. I got this Red Bull in my system, so my receptors are firing on all cylinders. So I'm just saying, y'all are giving me things to think about, and I'm just responding as I see them. That's all.
They said they got like 50 police looking for. My thing is, everybody should be looking for.
Family members of 27-year-old Danielle Hoyle are looking for answers after she was killed and her baby was reported missing.
She's 2 days old. I just want her to come home. They can't find her. They're looking for her. She needs her medicine. She needs a mirror. It's cold out here. I just need her to come home. I just want my grandbaby.
Hoyle's mother says her daughter left home around 6 o'clock Tuesday evening. She says her daughter told her she was taking her baby to the hospital for more testing. She last spoke to Hoyle around 7:30 and asked her if she made it to her destination.
She was like, "Yeah, Mom, I'm trying to get the baby out the car and get it in the hospital."
April Campbell says she called and messaged her daughter multiple times, but didn't get a response. Around 11:30, Campbell says police officers knocked on her door asking what car her daughter drives and if she knows where Hoyle is.
They say it was an active crime scene.
Memphis police say they found a body in an abandoned vehicle.
You can cry so much that
I think this is more of a standalone interview. I'm going to let you guys listen to this one before I give my closing thoughts. So here we go.
tears don't even come down your eyes anymore. I ain't slept since 11. No, I haven't slept.
It's been 24 hours after April Campbell's daughter was killed and granddaughter disappeared.
Danielle, she missed by everybody. Like I say, young folks make mistakes, but that wasn't a mistake. There wasn't a reason to kill my daughter.
27-year-old Danielle Hoyle was found shot to death near her car in Whitehaven around 11:15 Tuesday night. Police soon realized her newborn daughter wasn't with her. The search lasted all day Wednesday and into the night on Mud Island for 2-day-old Kennedy Hoyle.
I just wish I could just hold my grandbaby. I just want to tell them, I love them. I miss them.
After 6 p.m. Wednesday, police arrested Kennedy Hoyle's father, Brandon Isabel, on 2 counts of first-degree murder, murder in the perpetration of aggravated kidnapping, especially aggravated kidnapping, and tampering and fabricating evidence. This is what Campbell had to say about the man accused of killing her daughter and grandchild.
I want him to suffer like he made my baby suffer. I want him to hurt. I don't want it to be easy for him. I want him to suffer. He needs to suffer. Why would you hurt a baby?
I agree
Thanks
with
for
her
watching
on
our
that.
YouTube channel.
I can't even be mad at her. Really can't be mad at her because, like I said, man, this is absolutely senseless. If we are going to believe what he confessed to doing, now he's trying to back off of that confession. I really think that's what happened because it just seems like it makes sense. He got mad at the mom for whatever reason, whatever led up to it. He lured her out somewhere, shot her and killed her. How many times have we seen that happen? Lots of times. Just in the past month, just since January, look how many stories I've done about boyfriends luring their girlfriends and then killing them. What about the little Latin kid, the little Mexican kid that shot his girlfriend 22 times in the back because he lured her to a location to allegedly talk to her. Lured her out there and shot her 22 times in the back. Yes, that story is on my channel. Yes, that is a real story. I have a ton of stories just like this, and I just don't think it's a coincidence that something is causing this to happen. I don't think you can't just look at this baby and then just want to do something like that. Something prompted it, and it doesn't make it right. But I definitely think that he deserves the ultimate penalty under law because I believe that's exactly what he did. I think he's on some bull crap with the attorney. I know the attorneys are only doing what they're paid to do, or whatever their job is. I know that's what their job is to defend the defendants. But I 100% believe that he shot the mom and did something with the baby, either threw the baby in the trash can or threw the baby in the river. Now, I want y'all to keep in mind, this was a 2-day-old baby. This baby is very small, and I want you to also think about the potential things that could have been in that lake. Somebody actually in the chat said it earlier. Alligators. Think about how small that baby's body is. 6 pounds, 7, 8 pounds. That wouldn't be nothing to an animal that's in the river to swallow up that baby's body, and you would never know. If that's what happens, then It's just sad, man. I keep looking at this young girl. Just too young, man. And this baby, such a beautiful baby. Like I said, I don't know what led up to this, but all I know is that this baby deserved every opportunity to grow up and become something great. But I think, in my humble opinion, the only way that that can happen is if we take more precaution as us young men and as us young women, us as parents or grandparents, whatever it is. If you get an opportunity to teach, here's what I'm trying to get everybody to start understanding. Is that we must teach stability. We have to show stability because we have to have stability in the home in order to encourage our children to employ that in their own lives, because at the end of the day, they're going to make their own decisions. As much as I can talk about somebody like a Kevin Durant who didn't have his dad in his life like that and only was raised around his mom for the most part and had male father figures out there, and you know, we'll see how he turns out when it comes to how he decides to develop a family. But you do have those rare instances where you have a LeBron James that also didn't have his dad in his life, but he turned out to be a great father because he lacked so much of that. He wanted to give his children everything. So you could definitely have a good outcome in a lot of these situations. But I think what we have to do is we have to stop and evaluate where we're at, do better going forward. But we absolutely have to start making sure that we bring children into this world with purpose and stability. Those two things. We're not getting that in most of these situations. Purpose, stability. Please mark my words on that. I love you all. Thank you guys so much for listening to the story with an open mind as well as an open heart. And to the mother and that baby, let me skip past this fool's picture because every time I see it, it just makes me want to just punch my screen. This angel did not deserve that. So to Danielle and Kennedy, baby Kennedy, R.I.P. Hopefully they'll give this dude the ultimate penalty under law. I believe he's lying, but we'll see what happens. We'll make sure to do at least an update once we get a final verdict on this case, okay? Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, let's go ahead and go to story number 2. I hope I got you guys fired up just a little bit. I think we're having some pretty good conversations in the chat. And I thank you for those who are still here. Oh, we're not done yet, Irene. We're not done. That was story number 1. I told you guys I could do this all day and all night. That's how many stories I have. That is a damn shame that I have that many stories that I could do this all day, every day, and won't run out of stories. Isn't that something? And that's part of what I'm trying to highlight, is just to try to show people, look how often this happens. And sometimes it is, there are ways to be able to stop a lot of this stuff, or at least slow it down, rather than us just continuing to just keep going in the way that they were going. You said, where's the GoFundMe? Did you miss the GoFundMe, Mark? I did show it. I know for sure I showed it. Let me show you again. Hold on. Before I start the story, I can pull it up for you. So there it is. That's the GoFundMe, Danielle and Kennedy Memorial Fund. If you guys want to look that up, that's how it's titled. Asking for $15,000. They have surpassed that goal. More than double. They got 31,727 as of the moment that I took this screenshot. That's from the last story. But we are now on story number 2 out of, let's just say I have more. Ladies and gentlemen, these 2 creatures on my screen, and you're not going to feel bad for me calling them that. I don't know why they look like that. Like they look like some unhappy lollipops or something. Like they look like melted marshmallows. Like they look like molded bread. Like, I don't know. Like, why are you just, golly. I'm sorry. I can't even get into the story looking at these mugshots. But let me tell you guys, this story is going to have some details that are not going to sit well with your sensibilities. I don't know why they look like that, but I'm going to say some things that might piss you off. But that's your disclaimer if you need to exit the video. But that's how we're going to get down. A pair of women quote unquote, women, and I use that term very loosely, a pair of women in Pennsylvania may face the death penalty if a jury agrees with prosecutors for allegedly beating and starving 2 young girls to death. Let me share a little information with you guys. One of the most heinous things, and definitely the thing that bothers me to the core, is when people can't eat, when people are starved, when they are devoid of sustenance. Why? Because I know what it's like to be hungry. It is a desperate, hopeless feeling. And nobody, especially in our great American country, should ever have to go through this. But especially to subject children to this, because children can't do anything. They can't speak for themselves. They can't defend themselves. They can't go out and go get a job. They are forced to accept what you give them. And if you're going to have kids, I just think that it's something despicable about people who force these lifestyles on these children. It's just really terrible. But speaking of terrible, let me bring you back to these faces again. The partners by the name of Marie S. Snyder, who is on the left-hand side of the screen, is 32 years old. Ma'am, I would not have guessed. I would not have guessed. I would have thought you could have been old enough to be my mother. The woman on the right-hand side of the screen is Echo L. Butler. She looks like an Echo. Does she not? Like, she looked like Echo, the sad crackhead dolphin. Does she not? Echo L. Butler is 26. My goodness. Hold on. Let me see. Let me see if I can get you guys a bigger picture on my screen. Hold on. I just find this hard to believe. Hard to believe. I want y'all to look at her face and tell me, the one on the right hand side of the screen. Let me just skip the one on the left for now. Just look at this one on the right hand side of the screen. Echo is a woman, according to court documents. I wouldn't believe that she's 26 years old. I would believe that she's been smoking drugs for 26 years of her life. I would believe that. Like, why does the human face even look like that? Like, it looks like it's like she has no jaw muscles. Like, her eyes look like I don't know, like somebody tried to dig them out of her skull. Ooh wee. Boy, what, man, I wish I could say what I really was thinking, but y'all know I'm going to get flagged, so I have to be careful. I have to just tell the story, because my mouth's going to get me in all kind of trouble today, boy. Anyway, so 26 years old, allegedly, and they were charged with criminal homicide for the horrific deaths of Marie's daughters. Let me show you these angels, because this really, really pissed me off. Is this not the picture of health when it comes to siblings? I want y'all to look at these baby girls. You can easily tell that these girls loved each other. Easy to see that. Big sister's gonna look out for the little sister. Like, I love my brother and my sister, but we had our struggles as siblings. You know, the sibling rivalry thing. Yeah, we definitely went through that. Like, I always wish that we could have just been just buddy the whole time, and not every situation is like that. But I do envy this, because I think it's a beautiful thing to watch children treat each other's sibling like, hey, you're mine, I love you, and I'm going to protect you and be here for you. Beautiful young girls. And just what they were subjected to is just absolutely senseless. But let me tell you guys, the death penalty will be pursued, and I agree, against Mary Snyder and Echo Butler Lycoming County District Attorney Ryan Gardner reportedly said on Friday. Now, prior to their deaths, the victims, both of those girls, lived and were subjected to conditions beyond comprehension. Let me give you guys another name. Echo's mother, Michelle Butler, who's 49 years old. Let me see if I get her mug on the screen. Look at that. 49? 32 and 49. That means she had her between 16 and 17 years old. And they just all look slow. If you took a bottle of molasses and put it in a freezer and took it out and tried to pour it, that's how slow they look in the face. 49? She's also facing a charge of third-degree murder. Let me tell you about that. Now, according to a police affidavit unsealed Friday in Lycoming County District Court and obtained by the Sun Gazette, and I'm getting this article from lawandcrime.com, so thank you for the article. The two defendants subjected 6-year-old Nicole and 4-year-old Jasmine to heinous and unparalleled torture. When have y'all ever heard a description like that? Heinous and unparalleled. Heinous and unparalleled torture on a daily basis for years. Eventually causing the girls' deaths in 2016 and 2017, respectively. How did nobody find out about this? Hashtag, where's the biological fathers in this story? And again, I pointed this out in the last story, and I'll point it out here. No men. High violence. No men. High violence. No men. That is a... Now, if we're going to talk about themes, that is a theme in these LGBT relationships pertaining to the ladies in a lot of situations. High violence rates. 2016 and 2017, these girls died in different years and nobody knew anything. But here's the cold part about this story. Let me tell y'all where they found these girls at. And I don't know how in the hell nobody knew that these girls were missing. They should have been in school, but or daycare, but we'll get there. We'll get there. These girls, both of them were buried in shallow makeshift graves in the backyard of the couple's home located in the 600 block of Livermore Road in Williamsport. Look at that. Is that not disgusting? The conditions, unfortunately, these two little girls were subjected to prior to their deaths is some of the worst abuse that I've ever seen by far, according to Gardner said in a report. And speaking with law enforcement, hands down, it is the worst that they've seen, as well as in their storied 30-year plus careers. Marie and Echo allegedly abused these two girls, but did not harm Marie's young son. So there were 3 children. So they murdered the girls and didn't murder the boy. And yes, it is a higher rate of violence in girl-on-girl relationships. Yes, that is an actual statistical fact. So there was a boy involved here also, but they didn't harm Marie's young son, who allegedly was given pizza and ice cream while the girls were fed a spoonful of peas and 2 sips of water. I can't even hardly read that correctly. The boy was given pizza and ice cream while the girls were fed a spoonful of peas and 2 sips of water. While these fat son of a bitches ate as much as they wanted to. Gorging just like they don't get enough of the damn buffet. Like, what did these girls do to deserve that? The girls were also reportedly forced to wear soiled diapers and made to stand in a corner for hours with their hands bound, brutally beaten with hands and objects, and only given ice cold baths because they did not deserve hot water. The 3-year-old girl was often left restrained in a car seat in the home while the 6-year-old was left bound and tied up for hours at a time. Following the arrest, Marie reportedly told investigators that Echo did not like her daughters and wanted them out of the house. But I want y'all to notice, they didn't want to give up custody to the biological fathers. Can we get a hashtag babies for benefits? That is an AFC hashtag because these people only had these children to collect benefits off of these kids. They didn't love these kids. They didn't give a damn about these kids at all. What? They wrote, I'm sorry about these F word, B word. Marie allegedly wrote in a December 2015 letter to Echo, if you want them gone, they're gone. Oh my gosh. That's premeditation. That's why they're getting the death penalty. That's premeditated. She referred to them as F word, B words, trying to limit my cursing a little bit. About a year later, in January 2017, Marie allegedly wrote to Echo, I know you don't like Jasmine, and I never liked Nicole. But they would not give up that custody, though. Marie reportedly told investigators that on at least one occasion, Echo choked Nicole until her eyes rolled in the back of her head and regularly hit both girls in the head and face with a closed fist. I want y'all to keep in mind that these are grown women dealing this type of damage to little girls. If they defecated, used the bathroom in their diapers, Marie reportedly said Echo would smear the feces in their faces. I sincerely hope y'all are not eating right now, and I'm sorry about that. But I know these stories might be hard to listen to, but I want to remind you guys, I'm going to look in the camera and tell you guys, this might be difficult to listen to, but this ain't nothing compared to what these girls had to live through. Can you imagine? And you look at this angel. She did nothing to deserve this, but I think that she deserves to have her story told. They deserve to have their story heard. And the least that we can do is not only pay them respect, but share their stories so that more people can hear this and understand what really happened and what they were forced to live through. So let's make sure we share that. Just days before her 2016 death, Marie and Michelle reportedly told police that Nicole grew pale and weak and was unable to stand on her own. Her hair had also begun to fall out. All 3 women allegedly watched the girl take her last breath on or around May the 10th of 2016. Michelle Butler allegedly said per the Sun Gazette. That's where it was told. Following Nicole's death, Jasmine was allegedly subjected to even more extreme forms of torture and abuse. The child reportedly showed similar signs of her declining health in the days leading up to her death. Investigators say that Marie and Echo continued to collect benefits exceeding $2,000 from the Lycoming County Assistance Office and the Domestic Relations Office for up to 5 years after the kids were dead and buried in the yard. I hope I don't have to repeat myself and say that again. Can we get a hashtag babies for benefits? They continue to collect benefits off of these dead girls, exceeding $2,000. 5 years after they were dead and buried in the yard. How did nobody know that these girls were missing? And nobody cared. Nobody saw anything. Nobody said anything. Prosecutors charge Marie Snyder with 4 counts of criminal homicide, 2 counts each of endangering the welfare of children, unlawful restraint, theft by deception, concealing the death of a child, simple assault, recklessly endangering another person, abuse of a corpse, and 1 count each of obstruction in a child abuse case and tampering with evidence. Echo was charged with 4 counts of criminal homicide, 2 counts of endangering the welfare of children, unlawful restraint, concealing the death of a child, simple assault, recklessly endangering another person, abuse of a human corpse, tampering with evidence, as well as 1 count of obstruction in a child abuse case. In addition to the murder charge, Michelle Butler is facing 2 counts each of endangering the welfare of children, abuse of a corpse, concealing the death of a child, tampering or fabricating physical evidence, and 1 count of obstruction in a child abuse case. All 3 will appear in court again for a preliminary hearing in mid-February, so we're about at that time. So we will more than likely have some more information to report on this. Let me give you guys the fair usage. I know that was a lot to take in, but here we go. Let's get it. Federal law allows citizens to reproduce, distribute, or exhibit portions of copyrighted motion pictures, videotapes, or video discs under certain circumstances without the authorization of the copyright holder. This is called fair use. It is allowed for purposes of criticism, news reporting, teaching, and parody, which doesn't infringe of copyright under 17 U.S.C. 107. And again, if you guys would, always make sure you do us a huge favor and share these stories, because we don't want these girls' memory to go in vain. Share these stories, hit that thumbs up. It'll help bring more people to the story, okay? Let's get it.
Another arrest has been made after the bodies of 2 young girls were uncovered on a Lycoming County property.
Marie Snyder and Echo Butler were taken into custody earlier this week, and today, Old Lycoming Township Police say Michelle Butler, Echo's mother, was also taken into custody. Now, police say she's being charged with endangering the welfare of children and obstruction in child abuse cases. Earlier this week, the bodies of Nicole and Jasmine Snyder were found buried on a property off Livermore Road. Court documents show that the 2 girls were never enrolled in school, and they hadn't been heard from since 2015. Lycoming County Children and Youth began investigating Snyder in September for allegedly neglecting her 7-year-old son.
I almost forgot. I think I have an interview with him. I'm going to play it here in just a second. So I'll let y'all hear from the biological father. I think I have. Yep, here it is.
Well, the father of the 2 girls who were found dead in Lycoming County speaks out.
WBRE 28, WYOU 22 Eyewitness News reporter Jasmine Allen spoke with him and tells us more about what he hopes to see done.
For years, Joshua Snyder has been trying to get in contact with his children, only to find out his 2 daughters were dead, and says he's living every parent's worst nightmare.
This whole time, I assumed they were perfectly fine, that nothing happened.
The father of 3, Joshua Snyder, got the news that his 2 daughters, Nicole and Jasmine Snyder, were found buried in their mother's backyard.
At that point, I didn't know anything. I said that they were with their mother. I didn't know where they were. I just told them the last known address I knew, which is the address where they found them. It's just devastating.
In 2015, the children's mother and suspect, Marie Snyder, was granted a protection from abuse order. This gave her temporary custody of Jasmine, Nicole, and their son, and prevented Joshua from having...
Do y'all see what I see on my screen? Now, look, I know I don't live in no mansion. I don't live in the nicest place. But you're talking about these people raising children, and look at where they're living at. And they had a nerve to have security cameras?
temporary custody of Jasmine, Nicole, and their...
Do y'all see that? And I want y'all to remember that they were stealing government benefits on behalf of dead children. And have the nerve to live in that kind of place. And you got a security camera to secure what? Boy. Ooh. Yeah, I guess you don't want somebody to steal the trash off your lawn, I guess.
Their son, and prevented Joshua from having...
I guess you don't want somebody to steal your precious beer bottles or your precious needles or your precious Joe Biden crack pipes, I guess.
Having any contact.
Not getting to see them, not getting to be seeing them on their birthday. Like today's either the harder of it all because today is the 11th, which is Jasmine's birthday.
Even though the PFAs kept him away, Joshua still tried to make sure his children were okay.
This whole time I've had to pay child support on them and no one checked into them. I've demanded checks that were never done.
This nightmare has left Joshua and his family with more questions than answers, but he's hoping justice will be served.
My biggest thing I want to see happen is justice. I want to be able to get to the bottom of this and find out every detail and exactly everything that happened over these years.
Joshua says he always hoped when his children got older, they'd come find him and finally be a part of his life. Live in Williamsport, Jasmine Allen, 2822 Eyewitness News.
Now, I'm going to tell you guys this. We could poke fun at this dad. We could laugh at him. We could look at him and say he could have did more. We could say that maybe he was on drugs himself. Maybe he wasn't in the best financial situation. We could say a lot of things about him. But here's the funny part about it. No pun intended. There are a lot of regular fathers, professional fathers, police officers, businessmen who are also, no matter how much money they have, are being prevented from seeing their children also. So think about this. What is Kanye West, like a billionaire or something like that? I think Kanye is a billionaire? And Kanye West, I think he bought the house across the street from Kim Kardashian. And shout out to Kim Kardashian because she's also an advocate that helped us in a case. So shout out to Kim Kardashian. But they're going through some things. And even Kanye West is having trouble seeing his kids when he wants to see his kids. And he has endless amounts of money. And what I'm saying is that that's the type of thing that fathers in general are subjected to. So I want you guys to think about that, because we could judge a book by its cover. We could do that. We could look at him and say, well, he was the failure. But I know the other side of that, and I know that there are a lot of fathers, regardless of how little money they have or how much money they have, how little they care, how much they care, still have issues seeing their kids. If these women, and matter of fact, I want y'all to think about this. He clearly wanted to see them based on what he's saying. If they hated those girls that much, they could have just simply just said, hey, come pick your kids up. But you know why they didn't? That's why my logic follows here. The reason why they didn't is because they continued to collect benefits off of these girls after they were dead. That's why they didn't want to give up custody, because they knew that they were going to lose their benefits. How about that?
Learning more tonight about the deaths of two little girls in Lycoming County. Marie Snyder and Echo Butler were formally arraigned today on homicide charges 2 months after their arrest. It's in connection with the deaths of Snyder's two daughters, 3-year-old Jasmine and 6-year-old Nicole Snyder. Their remains were unearthed in November from the yard of Snyder's Livermore Road home in Hepburn Township. Investigators say the girls had been abused and starved to death several years ago. Snyder and Butler face nearly 24 charges each. Butler's mother, Michelle Butler, faces third-degree murder charges. All 3 women are jailed tonight without bail.
2 people are now formally charged with homicide after a months-long investigation into the remains of 2 missing girls who were found in Lycoming County. Marie Snyder and Echo Butler are facing homicide charges after the remains of Nicole and Jasmine Snyder were found in the yard of a Hepburn Township property back in November.
Now, we had somebody in the chat that posted a comment and said that the mother and father are both failures to these children. Guess what? I agree. I 100% agree. Because if we were more careful how we produce children, and if we were to at least take time to vet who this person is, who they truly are as far as their characteristics and personality traits, I think we would think twice, not only before we have kids, but we might actually care more about these children if we took the time to really get to know each other before we even get to this point. So yes, I agree that this is going to be a perpetual problem as long as we continue to keep having children like this. Just because we like having sex, or just because we like having sex with that particular person, just because we were irresponsible. But man, let's skip all of that. These girls didn't deserve what they went through. Matter of fact, I don't believe that if they were in the custody of their dad, that they would have went through this. They wouldn't have ended up like this. They could have ended up with anybody else, and this would not have happened like this. These women, this couple was just flat out devilish. They're evil. They are creatures of Satan. Let me roll back to their pictures here. I want y'all to look at this. These are 3 faces of evil. These are 3 faces that do not deserve any type of redemption. They have no remorse. They are just the worst people on earth to what they did to these precious, beautiful angels. Couldn't speak for themselves, nor could they defend themselves. They needed an advocate, and they had nobody. All 3 of these children had nobody to turn to defend them. Nobody would ask any questions about them. Nobody cared. And that's part of what I'm talking about when I say be an AFC. Because even in that trailer park neighborhood, I believe that's what that is, or portable homes, somebody out there knew something. Matter of fact, if I go back, let me see if I can see this again. There was a picture here of that house. Let me see if I can back up and find it. Let's see if I can find it real quick. I don't know if I can find it, but I think in the news story, there was an angle of the house that they took a picture of, and it looked like there were other houses that were there. So I'm assuming that they had neighbors. And if they had neighbors, then that means somebody had to have seen these kids. Somebody knew these kids were around. Somebody knew these kids existed. Somebody had to have known that for years, you don't see these kids anymore. You don't hear from them. You don't see them. Nobody picked up a phone. 5 years, nobody said nothing. They had nobody. Something as simple as a phone call, a welfare check, could have sparked the savior of these girls. And that's also what I'm talking about when I say, see something, say something. Even if you're wrong for reporting what you believe might be foul play, at least they'll get a welfare check done, and all they have to do is just prove, hey, we didn't do anything wrong. The girls are here, they're fine. And we move on. Because you could even report anonymously. But if somebody would have picked up the phone, could have saved these girls from these tyrants. These people aren't human. To these precious angels, young princesses, R.I.P. They deserved an advocate, and we hope that you will go out into the world and use these stories as cautionary tales to teach, help others, and really just let it just open up your heart more than anything, okay? Open up your heart and show that love to our children because they all need us. Thank you so much for listening to this story. Thank you. All right, thank you guys so much for sticking with me. I don't know how many people stayed around. Let me see. Do we have a few? Almost 660. That's pretty damn good, man. I love you guys. Make sure if y'all have not subscribed to this channel, please make sure you subscribe. Hit that bell, click the bell, turn the notifications on so that way I don't have to resort to trying to email everybody every week. I just want to just go live and see y'all show up and show some love, all right? We'll see you guys on the next stream. I think I said thank you to everybody. I think Sarah was the last person. Thank you, Sarah, in Cash App. That was the last one I got, and I think I shouted out everybody else. You have a great day. Have a great night. We'll see y'all on the next stream. Peace.
Check out this wonderful organization that I'm proud to be a part of. It's called Bags for Kids, BAGS4KIDS.org. And check out their website. They really help a lot of kids in foster care, giving them a permanent piece of luggage and also a lot of items that they might need so that they feel that they belong, which they do. So go to the website, bags4kids.org. So go for it. It's a great place, and they're doing great work.
Exclusive new products that you will only see on my website at www.sayitwithchess.com. These products are made special by my mother, Keyline Designs. The hoodie blankie, the face mask, as well as the 4-in-1 African head wrap. Now the way it works, it is a reversible bonnet. It has a headband that you can wear alone. It has a matching face mask as well. Please be sure to go over to our website and check out these nice new products that you will not find anywhere else.
What's going on, guys? This your boy, DJ Just J with Just Down TNT, and I am your humble host of the AFC Podcast. And people ask me all the time, what is the AFC Podcast? This is a platform for us to have open and candid conversation. Hold on, guys. I think we might have somebody that called in. Jazz, you have to connect a microphone. So select a microphone. I'll give you a moment. I drank a Red Bull, so I'm good to go. but it shows you don't have a device connected. You got to connect a microphone. You don't have to have a camera, but you got to turn your mic on. So whenever you join, you have to make sure that that green line is going up and down. If you can hear me. I'm going to type in the private chat over here on the side. Jazz, connect a mic. We might have one person that called in, so I'm still waiting. You got to connect the mic. Then I can bring you in. But it's showing. Matter of fact, let me see if I can show you on the screen what it's showing me. That's what it says on my screen. So Jazz, got to connect the mic. Connect the mic. Connect the mic, connect the mic. So hop off, try to hop back in. If you're there, I'll wait for you. Try it again. But you got to connect the mic, select the mic. We still got a few people here. I won't rush you off. I'm gonna play these commercials. I'm gonna wait for you to hop back on. About children who are being taken in. What's going on, guys? This your boy, DJ Just J with Just Down TNT, and I am your humble host of the AFC podcast. And people ask me all the time, what is the AFC podcast? This is a platform for us to have open and candid conversations about children who are being taken advantage of by people who are in charge of protecting them. So sometimes we discuss the latest things going on in the news, but we advocate for children first. I get so many emails and comments from people that love what I do, and I want to continue to keep. Jazz, you got to connect a mic, connect a microphone. As soon as you do, it'll let me click you in. If you can hear me, connect a mic. Select your microphone source. So if you're on a cell phone, it should be pretty easy to do. If you're on a tablet or computer, you just have to select a microphone source. Even most laptops should have it to where you could turn the mic on. So you have to just give it access. Select a microphone. Make sure that green line is going up and down. If that green line ain't going up and down, then I can't hear you. Bringing content that matters to YouTube. Now I would like to thank you in advance for your consideration to contributing to my platform. You can help support this channel by way of the links that are in the description box of each and every video. And also, don't forget to hit that thumbs up. I would like to thank you again and welcome to the AFC podcast, where we advocate for children first. We'll see you guys on the next stream. Peace.